Hi, Dennis here, Cappel Training. Doing a recap today on the video of trimming the weanling that had some distortion in his feet and some cracks in the feet. This is a really good video, I think, on several aspects. It's not so much about teaching you how to trim the foot itself, but it's more about how to handle that colt's legs to make the trimming process go much better. You know, those colts, any horse, is usually thinking about self-preservation. And the best tool that they have to protect themselves is to leave. So when we've got to have them in a state of mind before we go to pick the feet up to where they feel safe. If they feel safe, they'll relax. But if they're cautious and not sure if you're going to hurt them or whatever their perception is, they tense up and they're ready to leave. So basically what this video will show you is how to read that colt through feel when you are holding the legs. I would go so far as to say this, that if this is done correctly, it's very helpful. If you're releasing these horses in a state of mind where they feel like they get to escape by pulling on you, you're better off to not do anything at all. So just the fact that you get a foot picked up and then set it down, you maybe haven't accomplished anything, and just might have trained that horse to be difficult to work with his feet. You see, there's a difference in just picking a foot up and cleaning it out. That doesn't take a lot, and the horse is in no bind whatsoever. So you might have the illusion that he's pretty good about his feet, and then the horse here comes and picks that foot up and has to hold that foot in a way that he needs to be able to do his job, and the horse pulls and resists that. Well, it's because he hadn't been exposed to it in a way to know that it was okay. And that's what this video is doing, is showing you how to feel when there's stiffness. I'll start off picking up a hind foot on this colt, and he was braced, and he was protecting himself. He was defensive. He was trying to make a decision. Do I need to pull my foot away so I can leave, or can I relax and let this foot? So that was the thought process of the colt at that moment. He decided that it was okay to relax because I wasn't fighting him. I felt that resistance, and I stayed there steady, and I waited. You can't always, sometimes they're going to take the foot away no matter what. When that happens, then I will just do a turn on the forehand with them and get them moving and show them that they can move, and then I'll repeat it again. I'll make standing with a foot up the easy thing and pulling the more difficult thing. So it's just a way of communicating with them through feel. As far as the cracks and the distortion in this foot, I'll see if I can show you an example of why cracks occur and what can be done about it using this ruler. Now, if you imagine that this is the outside of the hoof wall, and here's the ground. So if I set this foot down, and remember, this is the outside of the hoof wall, and I've got this. The only thing touching would be the hoof wall on the ground. The inside is going to want to get on the ground. So as it gets on the ground, you see the foot starting to go out. And as it grows, imagine this foot just getting longer here now, it gets on more of an angle. Why is that significant? Well, the more angle that we have from the hairline to the ground, what will start to happen is that it'll come down pretty straight from the hairline, and then that foot will start to migrate out to the outside below, maybe about a third of the way down the foot. It's still intact and pretty tight, but below that it starts to pull the hoof wall away from the foot. That's distortion. Well, if it gets too much distortion, then it cracks off. And that's their natural way of trimming themselves. So it's not something to be overly panicked about, because it's a naturally occurring thing, and with movement, they'll chip that off and bring it back where it belongs. The sole will be a limiting factor to keep it from getting too short, but you know, it will take care of itself. But sometimes when it takes care of itself, it leaves splits and cracks up the hoof wall. So that's what we'll be addressing on this colt's foot during the trim on all 4 feet. You know, basically it's a matter of using good feel, using good judgment, and then whatever's presented to you, when you're there, deal with what's there at the moment. You know, if there's not any foot there, you can't take any more off. Don't try to fix something that isn't there. But if it's too long, just trim it off. And you know, just a little bit of and not much. I mean, remember that the sole has to be the limiting factor. So we can take hoof wall off on an angle to where maybe it's not even touching the ground on the outside. Let's use this for example. If it's not touching the ground on the outside, now then when the hoof wall does get back to the ground, you see it made this hoof wall nearly straight from the hairline to the ground. Why is that important? I think that's important because we get a straight supporting structure from the ground to the horse's limb. And that's no different than building a house. If we got a house and the outside walls are leaning, it's only going to get worse. But if those outside walls are straight, as they should be, it can stay there over years and not have any, you know, distortion problems because of the leaning structure. So that's what I'm thinking about when I have a foot in the air. But I think what will benefit you most from a horse owner's standpoint of watching this video is watch how that horse will go from being stiff and thinking about leaving to relaxing and coming back where he's comfortable. As soon as the horse gets comfortable, when I have a foot in the air, if he's been braced on the other side of it, I will release that foot once he gets completely comfortable. And that's telling the horse that the sooner you get comfortable, the better that things will be. So I've got this here to show a little bit about how to recognize feel. This is vet wrap, and when you pull vet wrap, there's a stretching effect in there, and you can feel that. So that's what it feels like when a horse is stiff. You'll feel that leg tensing up. He's really not stiff in his leg. He could be, but most of the time it's between his ears. That's where we've got to get the relaxation. So when you're holding, you feel that stiffness, and you just wait right there. Now that colt is thinking, how do I get rid of this? How can I get more comfortable? And when he makes a little adjustment and starts to put that slack in there, you got to be steady enough to recognize that. And then when there's pliability in that leg, that's your point of release. Let that foot down when you feel that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If these recaps are helpful to you or for you, if you enjoy them, please let us know. We're doing these videos for you naturally, and we want to know what serves you best on your end. So we've been doing this for some time now. We'll put a video up and then we recap the video later during the week. So just let us know if you like that. I appreciate you being with us. Thank you.